Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new on my channel, then welcome. First things first, Happy New Year everyone. It is officially 2019 now, and this is my first video of the year. Just as a heads up guys, I am so out of it today. It's probably not the best idea to film a video because I'm just all over the place. I'm kind of tired. Also my hair is like, it's just driving me nuts today. I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's not in the way that it's supposed to be, and it's driving me crazy. It's just one of those days. But we are going to try and get through this video. I'm going to talk to you guys about my recent purchases and what I think about them. Some of these things you have already seen on my videos. I have briefly mentioned them or used them, but some of these things I have not shown you guys whatsoever. I have not talked about them. Basically, I've just tried them out off of camera, and I have my thoughts and feelings and all those kinds of things to share with you. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, so let's jump into this. So this is something that I am completely and utterly in love with, and if you're someone who has a very dry skin, just like me, then I think you would absolutely adore this product as well. This is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Normally, I don't get too excited about primers because they don't really do anything too miraculous, for me at least. I prefer to use moisturizing primers, which this is as well. Sometimes, especially during winter, my skin gets flaky. It's that bad. So that's why when my skin is feeling extra dry, I need to use something that would give that extra moisture to my face. By the way, I don't know if that's weird or not, but I like to keep my things in like the boxes that they come in. I mean, most of the time, not always, but for some things, I like to store them in the packaging. Is that weird? Does someone else do that? I don't know. If you do that, please let me know. This is the primer that I gravitate towards the most, especially recently. First of all, because it's just so amazing and it makes my skin just feel so much more plump and so much more fresh. But it also smells so incredibly nice, and it's extremely soft and velvety and silky feeling, so I just feel like it glides onto the skin and it makes the skin so smooth that it's just pure joy to apply foundation. It's just, everything is just gliding everywhere, and it's okay. I know it may sound a bit bad, but I don't mean gliding as in like not sticking to the face. I mean gliding as in everything is just so super easy to blend. This is something that I highly recommend if you have dry skin as well, and if you love moisturizing primers. It's amazing. Next up, I want to talk about a primer that I also got while I was in Berlin, and it is the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I tested it out in store, and I don't know, it felt really nice. It felt very smooth, but to be honest, I don't reach for it all that much at all because this didn't really blow me away. It's not enough, at least for me. Maybe my skin is just a bit too dry for this. This feels a bit like gel-like or silicone-y almost. It doesn't feel truly hydrating like the Bobbi Brown one. I almost feel like in the areas where my face is extra dry, where I have like really flaky skin, this actually dries it out even more, funnily enough. I will keep trying this out though, and I will see how it reacts to my skin during summer. Maybe when the weather is not so cold and my skin feels a bit more normal, maybe I will like it more then, but as for now, it's just kind of meh. The next one that I'm talking about is also an e.l.f. product, and it is the foundation. This is the oil-free foundation. I don't know if it has any other name because this one, I didn't keep the packaging for this one. Mine is in the shade Porcelain. Again, I don't really reach for it all that much. First of all, because it feels, and it, like when you apply it, it's a bit thick. It also has a weird scent to it. I mean, I don't really mind the smell all that much, but it's just, if you are someone who is sensitive to fragrances or like specific scents in products, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this one. The biggest issue for me is that it doesn't give that much coverage. I mean, it does give like medium coverage, I would say. Even when I build it up, it's still like maximum high medium. At least for me, it doesn't give me the kind of result that I look for in a foundation. So that's why this is another one that I'm not really impressed with. But I am extremely impressed with the Baked Highlighter by e.l.f. This is in the shade Moonlight Pearls. It is not the most blinding thing. I'm actually wearing it today as well, but I'm wearing it on top of something else. You will see in a minute. I just love that it gives the skin this kind of subtle highlight. It doesn't look glittery, it doesn't look chunky, it just glides onto the skin and it gives you that kind of glow. I like to wear this on the days where I'm not wearing too much makeup because it just gives me that kind of subtle glow from within, that kind of radiance. But on the days where I feel like doing a full face of makeup, I want to look extra glam, sometimes I use this on top of another powder highlight, or I love this combo, by the way. I use some of the Marc Jacobs Dewdrops. I apply that on my cheeks first and then I go over top with this, and it's just the most stunning combination. I love this so much. So yeah, I'm actually glad that I got to finish on a high note when it comes to e.l.f. Next, I want to move on to concealers. Okay, I'm quickly going to brush over this one because you've seen me use it several times. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus concealer, and mine is in the shade Light Ivory. This is new. I just recently got this, and then I also got 2 backups for this because it is such a great concealer from the drugstore, and it is so affordable. It does a great job covering up the under eyes, and at least for my skin tone, the shade Light Ivory works perfectly because it has a bit of a peachy undertone in there, so I feel like it also counteracts the darkness underneath my eyes. I like the coverage, I like the texture, I like how it works with every single foundation that I own, and yeah, it just always looks good and it never lets me down. And yeah, okay, I need to stop playing with these. So yeah, I just wanted to mention this. I got backups for this because it's really good. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour. Anyway, this is the Makeup Revolution Liquid Concealer, and this is in the shade C5. I got curious about this one because some people were saying that this is a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. So naturally, I was really intrigued to try this thing out. I'm actually kind of confused how someone could say that this is a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape because the formulas are so completely different. There is nothing about this that reminds me of Tarte Shape Tape. Okay, maybe the only one is maybe the doe foot applicator on this. That's pretty much where the similarities end for me. Tarte Shape Tape, I mean, you could absolutely not set it because it dries down perfectly fine and it doesn't crease and all that kind of stuff. You have to set this. Of course, I am solely talking about my experiences when it comes to this concealer, but even then, I can't imagine this one looking good and not creasing without being set. That's all I'm going to say. I do like this. It is not a bad concealer, and I actually used this with the Wet n Wild one. I mixed those two together today on my under eyes. I don't have anything against this concealer. It's a nice concealer. I just feel that it needs some extra support to give me that kind of desired result. Now, the concealer that did disappoint me quite a bit was the NABLA, I'm guessing it's NABLA, Close Up Stay Full Smooth Concealer. As it says, it's light peach, so it's like a peachy concealer, and I thought it was going to be perfect because, as we all know, peachy tones counteract the blue tones underneath the eyes, and I have a major issue with that. So whenever something says it's peachy and it's like an under eye concealer, I'm all for it. Let's go over the positives first. It is stunning. I love the design of this. So yeah, if you're someone who likes to display makeup on their vanity and make it look nice, this looks beautiful. It also smells so incredible. Oh, it has this coconut scent to it, and it's so nice. Oh boy, okay, now we get to the not so great part. First of all, this concealer is not the cheapest one on the market by any means. Okay, this is not an expensive concealer either. I believe this is like around 15 or 16 euros, but you only get 4 milliliters in there. 4 milliliters. That's like less than half of Tarte Shape Tape. This one, it's weird. Like, it was the weirdest thing, okay? Sit yourself down because this is going to be a story. So, when I first tried this, I was over the moon. I thought I had found my new holy grail concealer. Granted, the lighting in my room is not the best. Whenever I do makeup, it's just like I'm doing it halfway in the dark, but never mind. It looked beautiful, and then I went to the bathroom and there was like really bright lighting there, and I could actually see what was going on underneath my eyes, and it was a nightmare. First of all, I could see a line going in between my under eye area and the rest of my face, because this thing is so dark. I could basically see a line where the foundation was and where the concealer was. I was kind of disappointed about that, but I mean, this is not the biggest issue. You could use like a lighter concealer with this. You can play around with the tone. But what I did not like, and what was like a huge red flag for me, was that this concealer looked horrible, horrible with my Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder. And that powder is like a holy grail. It makes every single concealer look better. It sets my under eyes so nicely, but when I put it on top of this, it just looked so dry and so textured. It was horrible. I cannot emphasize it enough how bad it looks. No matter what concealer I've used in the past, everything has looked so good with that powder. So I know it's not the powder's fault, it has to be this. I have not had to remove my makeup and reapply it with something else in a very long time. But I had to do it with this concealer because the way that my under eyes looked, it was so bad. I had to take it off and use another concealer instead. I'm very, very sad that this didn't work for me because I had such high hopes, but it just wasn't meant to be. I don't want to talk about a disappointing product again, but I feel like I just want to get this one out of the way. Sorry that this is really, really dirty, by the way. I used it today to apply my makeup. This is the MYKITCO. It's a UK brand, and this is their sponge. I don't actually even know what the proper name of this is. If I find it, I will leave it on the screen for you. But yeah, this is basically like their beauty blender sort of sponge, right? I actually bought this because this was on sale, and it looked really nice. It looked very similar to the beauty blender. It had very, very good reviews, and it wasn't too expensive either. I can't remember how much it was exactly, but it wasn't more than 10 euros, definitely. My beauty blender was kind of having a rough time already, and it needed to be replaced anyhow. And I don't know why, but I get adventurous at times. I feel like I want to try something else and see maybe there is an alternative for the beauty blender. And every single time I think that, I am disappointed yet again. I mean, there are alternatives. There are alternatives that work just fine. For instance, this one works just fine as well, but it is not the same, and nothing compares. At least the ones that I've tried have not compared. I do not like the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I do not like the Eco Tool sponge. What else have I tried? Now I've tried this. And okay, I can't say that I don't like it. It doesn't feel like squishy and soft and weightless almost. That's what it feels like. The Beauty Blender feels weightless. It's just so much more effortless with the Beauty Blender. That's all I have to say. So far, no sponge has even come close to the Beauty Blender. So yeah, that's that. Next up, I want to talk about something that is, I don't know if it's a classic, but it's just something that people went nuts about at one point. I remember the last time I wanted to get this, it was out of stock everywhere, and I was so frustrated, and then I forgot about it for a while. I finally got my hands on this, and I think it's really, really great. It is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy. This is the most popular one in the range. I do actually have the Glam Rock, which is the silver one. I got this because I couldn't get the golden one, and I do love this one as well. I have created so many amazing looks with this one. I mean, the golden one is just a classic, and it's a beautiful thing to use if you want to do like a glitter liner, or if you want to just top off some eyeshadow look and make it extra nice and sparkly and just kind of oof, like that. It's perfect for that. And it is also just the most convenient thing to use. You don't have to mess with loose glitter. The glitter doesn't go everywhere. You don't have to use any kind of glitter glue or primer, anything like that. Really good stuff. Now, next up, I want to move on to eyeshadow. And again, I was not really impressed with this at all. This is the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette in the shade Comfort Zone. Yeah, I got this because I read somewhere online that this is supposed to be a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Mario palette. I mean, no one really talks about it anymore. No one really uses it because it was limited edition, or at least most people don't use it because it was limited edition. But the color scheme is very similar in this, which is, I guess, why people say that it's a dupe. I don't know, because I haven't tried the Mario palette. I couldn't get my hands on it, sadly. That's why I wanted to try this. I'm guessing that the color scheme is the only thing that's similar with those two palettes. At least that's what I hope, because I do not like the formula of these shadows. I'm sorry, I know that Wet n Wild is a loved brand. I actually love Wet n Wild as well. I love their Photofocus foundation. I already mentioned the concealer. I also like their eye pencils. I think Wet n Wild has some really good stuff. You know, it's the case with every single brand. There are hits and there are misses. That's just how it is. And for me, the eyeshadows are a miss. It's not even that the shades are not pigmented. They are pigmented, but my beef with, okay, I have to be honest, with most eyeshadows that I've tried from the drugstore, my beef with them is that they do not stay on my eyelids. I can use primers, I can use concealers, I can use whatever underneath, and the color is just, it's off my eyes in a few hours. And I very often find that with drugstore eyeshadow palettes, they love to put in shimmery shades, but they don't put in that many matte shades. And I'm just someone who I personally prefer matte shades. So I guess that's all I have to say. It's a lovely color scheme, and the shadows are buttery and they are pigmented. The pigment just doesn't last. Now I do have to mention this single shadow from the drugstore that absolutely blew my mind. This is from Essence, and this is the Melted Chrome eyeshadow in the shade Ironic. Okay, do you see? Do you see how blinding this is? And okay, just hang on a second, check this out. By the way, this is like the most buttery eyeshadow that I have tried. I mean, seriously, this is absolutely foiled beautifulness. I don't know how they did that. I do not know, because as I already said, I'm usually not very impressed with drugstore eyeshadows, but this one, oh my goodness. If you can get your hands on this, definitely go and check it out. The Beauty Bay Evolve palette, I'm not a fan. I wanted to like this so much. There are so many looks that you can create with this. There are really cool shades in here. I love this green. I think these two shades are really cool as well. This is like a duochrome, lilac-y, blue. I don't know, there are different kind of hues in there. And then this one is like a deep purple, black, blue kind of mush as well. And then there are some amazing oranges and reds and burgundies and browns. I really dig those kinds of shades, but I'm just not crazy about the formula on these shadows. They are not the easiest to blend out. If you want to see how I created a look with this palette, I will link a tutorial on the screen for you guys. Even though I really liked how the look turned out in the end, it wasn't the most enjoyable experience because I was struggling quite a bit, and it took me a while to blend the colors out and make them look the way that I want them to look. Another thing that's kind of bizarre to me, the whole point of this palette is to kind of give you like a cheat sheet of what to do on the eyes. So like what colors to use in which order. To me, it just really doesn't make sense. At least like some of these. I don't get row number 4. I don't get row number 6. Number 5. Mixing and matching the shades is all fine. I just find the formula of the shadows a bit difficult to work with. I'm really sad about that because I wanted to like this palette so much. The next palette, however, is, oh my goodness. This is the bPerfect Stacey Marie Carnival palette. Look at the colors in this, guys, and tell me that it is not stunning. I actually used this thing on my eyes today. This was like the easiest look that I've done. I dusted the shade Basic in my crease, and then I went over the whole lid with the shade Rowdy, and then I used the shade Keen in my inner corners because I have wanted to do like the bright yellow inner corner thing for such a long time. I am completely in love with this palette, and I cannot wait to do like a super colorful look with this palette for you guys. I really want to do that. I also used the shades Saint and Sinner, these two highlight shades, on my cheeks today and on the center of my nose and all those kinds of places that you normally highlight. And then I went over top with the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter. I cannot recommend this palette enough. If you're someone who likes to play around with makeup and you are not someone who's afraid of colorful shadows, I'd say this palette is like the best. Now next up I have to talk about a few disappointing things yet again. This is the BH Cosmetics 7-piece essential eye brush kit or something. It was really affordable, and again it had good reviews, so I decided to give it a try. but honestly, I am not a fan of these brushes. They are just way too, like, slippery. To me, it doesn't pick up the product in a way that I would like it to. And for me, it's just difficult to work with brushes like this. That's why these brushes are a pass for me. This one let me down as well, and it is again from BH Cosmetics. I recently purchased their Liquid Linen 5 liquid lipstick collection, and I love the colors of these liquid lipsticks, but the formula again is just not my favorite. They have a very lightweight texture, they go on super thin, but when they dry down a bit sticky, and I wouldn't say patchy, but they grab onto every single dry area that you have on the lips. I just find them super uncomfortable to wear. When they start fading, they fade off kind of patchy as well. It's really not my favorite. There are so many other liquid lipsticks that are much more comfortable to wear, that you cannot feel on the lips, and that when they dry down, they don't suck the life out of your lips. For instance, the Gerard Cosmetics Hydra Mattes are like that. Those are actually some of my all-time favorite formulas when it comes to liquid lipsticks. Also, the Ofra liquid lipsticks are like that. Also, I actually like the Balm Meet Matte Hues, that's what they're called. I like that formula as well. These ones just... The color is nice, but the formula is not for me. And last but not the least, we are going to finish on a high note. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Multi-Talent Fixing Spray. This one is actually not as recent as the other ones. I know that I promised to let you guys know how I feel about this. I really like that the mist of this spray is very fine, but I don't know if it really makes my makeup last any longer. To be honest, I'm really bad at that anyway. Okay, maybe my Urban Decay All Nighter, maybe that setting spray is the one that I've seen that actually works. Whenever I use that, my makeup lasts hours and hours and hours. But with my other setting sprays, I just know that my makeup looks nice, but I cannot like compare one setting spray to the other and say like, this one makes my makeup last longer than this one does. I don't know, I don't have that ability. All I can say is this is a really good one, and I feel like it also gets bonus points because it's so affordable, and it just makes the skin look nice and refreshed and radiant, so what's not to like? And oh my god guys, we made it! These were all the products that I have purchased recently, and when I say recently, I mean like in the last 2 to 3 months. If you have tried any of those products that I've talked about, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. I'm going to keep this nice and short because please let me know what you'd like to see in my upcoming videos. I am definitely going to do a colorful tutorial with the Carnival palette. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!